being a writer and then about Steven Universe. Because I know that a lot of you are animation students or you're studying animation. Although I'm a writer now, I started out as an animator. And the cool thing about animation is like it's a collaborative art. Like on a big scale, like a TV show, it takes a lot of people to like make something come to life. But in a way, animation is also a very do-it-yourself art form. And you can do really simple animation on your own and kind of create a world all by yourself. You know, because you are like all parts of the storytelling process when you're an animator. You know, you come up with the look of the world, you come up with the acting for the characters, you come up with the story, you are the camera angle through the director, you are everything. When you are an animator, there's a lot of power to that. And that's sort of what got me the job of writing for TV. I had gone to school for animation, I studied film, but 6 years, it took me 6 years out of college to get into TV animation. It was not right away. And I'm not saying that to deter anyone. I'm saying that, you know, it's okay if things don't happen right away. There's a lot of learning that I went through and a lot of growing and a lot of cool stuff that I discovered. I made a short film in college called She's a Bombshell. I like really long titles. And it was about some friends coming back from a punk show, driving home. And I put it in some festivals, and I'd actually like, some people at MTV contacted me. This was like right out of college. And they asked if they, you know, they brought me into MTV offices in New York for a meeting. And they were like, hey, we really like your short. We want to know if you have any ideas for TV shows. And I was like, no. Because I'd never been to one of these meetings. And then they said, well, cool. Well, maybe if you could think of one, and then you could write up a thing called a show Bible, which is like a kind of pitch packet for a show. And I said, yeah, what's a show Bible? And they were like, oh, I'll email you one, and then you can send us one. I was like, great, that's awesome. And then they never emailed me. Because they were like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's an idiot. But I didn't let that deter me. I kept making stuff. My writing partner, Matt Burnett, who also writes for Steven Universe, we went to school together and we decided to start making cartoons on our own. We were taking comedy classes in New York, and we were kind of in this comedy scene and meeting like actors who wanted to do voice acting and stuff, and so we decided to animate our own shorts, just like in our apartments. We were working day jobs, and at night we would come home. This is when I was still animating on paper, which, oh my God, is so tedious. But we would come home at night and animate, and we would voice our own shorts, and we would turn our apartments into recording studios. I lived in this really tiny apartment in New York, and I remember putting the mattresses, my bed mattress against the windows so that the street noise wouldn't come in, and then like recording in the middle of summer with a bunch of actors in my room, and it was really sweaty and gross. But sometimes that's what you gotta do to get stuff done. You gotta get people sweating. So, you know, I would do this, I would animate. We released this short online on YouTube, like back in like the early days of YouTube when it was kind of easier to get on the front page without being sponsored. We made this short about nerds, live action role playing at a Christmas nativity scene called I'm in Your Manger, Killing Your Savior. And they were playing the three wise men, and they were bringing gifts to Jesus, but they were all like Dungeons and Dragons gifts. They were like mercurial shields and gold coins and stuff that like Jesus shouldn't use. So we made that, and it was just like, we just wanted to do something. We just wanted to make something like, you know, tell our nerdy jokes. And people really responded to it. We got a lot of views. We're like, let's make more. And we made like a little web series about these nerds kind of getting in trouble with each other. And it ended with a giant robot fight, which made no sense. But I wanted to have a giant robot fight in something, because that's the funnest thing ever. And we were sort of in this community of comedians and people who were trying to make stuff as well. And when someone someone had an agent and they were like, oh, these guys who are animating something for me, they did this cool web series, just check it out. And this guy really loved what we were doing. We kind of had made this little piece of us and put it online, and he offered to represent us. And we took a pilot based on this web series to Los Angeles and pitched it around, and nobody wanted it. But they were like, oh, you guys are great writers, you should write for Cartoon Network. So that's kind of how I started working in television. And the thing that there's two big takeaways from that, just from that experience, is like, you have to make stuff. Like if you have a vision or you want to do something, you have to let the world know that you can do that and that you have skills, and it's not about being the best. I know that's like really intimidating when you're a student. I know that growing up, I was like, there was like 2 kids in my school that could draw, right? Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys come from this, like, it was just me and this guy, Bobby Mozafari, and like he could draw like Wolverine pretty good, but I could draw Looney Tunes pretty good, and like, there wasn't much competition. But then when I came to school, it was like, oh my God, everybody's good. What am I gonna do? I'll never make it. But it's not about being the best, it's about telling your own story and saying something that's unique to you. So don't worry about just being the best character animator or anything. Just say what is something that's interesting to you and make stuff. And also, I think try and find a community. That's what we were doing in New York. I found Matt Burnett. We were working together. We were finding these improvisers who were, we would bounce ideas off of, and they would inspire us to make characters for them to voice. Find people who are trying to animate, or find people who are looking to be writers and animate with them. If you're trying to write for animation, find an animator and collaborate with them. You'll support each other. You'll kind of be able to break into places you couldn't alone. A sort of example is that back in 2008, I'd seen a comic online called Don't Cry For Me, I'm Already Dead, by someone named Rebecca Sugar. And I emailed her out of the blue and was like, hey, this comic is so good. Oh man, like, you're great. Just wanted to say that. And then she emailed me back and she said, I've seen she's a bombshell. I really like that. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And I didn't really think much of it, but then later I was in Los Angeles. Rebecca was pitching Steven Universe. They were asking, who do you want to write for the show? And we were writing in Los Angeles, and she said, oh, Ben, he made she's a bombshell. I know that guy. I want him to write for my show. And the thing is about this, like you make something, you never know how it's going to affect things down the line. That was like, 6 years before that short really did anything for me, except for embarrass me in front of an executive at MTV. So find a community and be really nice to people. Like, you don't have to be fake, but I'm just saying, like, you never know who's gonna get a show, and then be like, oh, I remember you emailed me in 2008. So, so that's kind of how I got onto Steven Universe. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about Steven Universe. Maybe I'll play a clip from Steven Universe. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to play a clip from a recent episode. I think that aired here. I don't know, I can never tell where they're airing. Just everywhere. Yeah, it's a good play.